Ever just glance at a meter reader and think, what's that job actually like? I know I have,
Yeah, totally. It's one of those jobs that kind of flies under the radar.
for sure. So today we're doing a deep dive into the world of meter readers. And guys, it's way more interesting than it might seem at first glance.
Agreed. There's a lot more to it than meets the eye.
Right. So we've been checking out some resources from RoleCatcher, that platform all about helping people figure out their careers.
Yeah, I've heard of them. They've got some pretty cool tools, right?
Absolutely. And their career guide,
Uh,
super in-depth, breaks down everything about being a meter reader from the daily grind to like climbing the career ladder.
nice. We'll have to link to that in the show notes.
Definitely. So let's jump right in. What exactly do these meter readers do all day?
Well, at the most basic level, they're the ones collecting data from those meters we see on houses and businesses, for gas, water, electricity, the stuff we literally can't live without.
True, true. It's easy to forget how crucial those things are until they're gone, right?
Tell me about it. Imagine no wifey. But anyway, back to meter readers. RoleCatcher makes a good point about how essential that data collection actually is. I mean, without accurate readings, how would utility companies know how much to even bill us?
It's true. And forget billing. What about managing those resources? Or even spotting a leak before it becomes a huge problem?
Exactly. RoleCatcher emphasizes that those readings are kind of the backbone of the entire system. Without them, it's chaos.
Wild, right? They're like the unsung heroes of keeping our lights on and our water running.
Totally. And it's not all just about collecting numbers either. RoleCatcher points out that they often handle things like, basic meter maintenance.
Yeah, yeah. Troubleshooting if something's wonky.
Right. Or even dealing with customers who have questions about their bills or whatever.
It's like a customer service element I never really considered. So, okay, we've covered the what's of being a meter reader, but let's get real. What about the pros and cons of the job itself?
Right, because every job has them.
Yeah.
Let's see. RoleCatcher seems to highlight job security as a big plus.
Yeah.
I mean, utilities aren't going anywhere, right? People always need gas, water, electricity.
Totally. No matter how technologically advanced we get, those are pretty essential. So steady work, that's a huge plus.
Definitely. And they mentioned the whole outdoor aspect of it. Getting paid to be active, walk around, get some fresh air.
Definitely a plus for anyone who hates being stuck at a desk all day. I'd much rather be outside. How about you?
100%.
Yeah.
But of course, no job is perfect. RoleCatcher does mention that it might not be the most stimulating gig for everyone. It could get repetitive, same tasks day after day.
Yeah, I can see that. Not a ton of mental stimulation, maybe.
Right. And they say the salary potential might be limited. Like, you're probably not going to be rolling in dough as a meter reader, even with years of experience.
That's fair. Guess it all comes down to what you value, right? Some folks thrive on routine and being outdoors, while others need constant challenges and big earning potential.
Totally. It's all subjective, what the best job is.
Okay, so we've talked about what they do, the good, the maybe not so good. But there's this big old elephant in the room, right?
You're talking about technology.
Bingo! Automation is kind of everywhere these days, and I gotta imagine it's impacting the world of meter readers, too.
For sure. I mean, we've got those automated meter reading systems popping up. Makes you wonder.
Is this the beginning of the end for human meter readers?
That, my friend, is the million-dollar question. RoleCatcher actually spends a good chunk of their guide addressing that very topic. And thankfully, it's not all doom and gloom for the meter reader or, for anyone interested in that career path.
So it's not like we're gonna see robots roaming the streets, scanning meters anytime soon.
Not quite. Although that would be kind of cool in a sci-fi way.
Right, like please state your account number, citizen.
Exactly. But in all seriousness, RoleCatcher stresses that while tech is definitely shaking things up, it's not about replacing human workers entirely. It's more about, changing the nature of the work itself.
Okay, so maybe fewer robots, more like cyborg meter readers, part human, part tech.
Something like that. Think of it this way. Automation might handle those super routine things like grabbing readings from those standard meters. But then you've got those areas where human know-how is still irreplaceable.
Yeah, I can see that. Like, what kind of stuff are we talking about?
Well, RoleCatcher specifically mentions things like physical checks.
Mhm.
Making sure the equipment's actually working properly, not just spitting out numbers. And then there's maintenance. Those automated systems can't exactly fix a busted pipe, right?
True. There's got to be someone who can actually get their hands dirty, problem solve on the fly.
Exactly. And let's not forget about those really complex metering setups. Some businesses have, like, super intricate systems that those automated readers just aren't equipped to handle.
So it's almost like technology is becoming a partner for meter readers, not a replacement. They get to focus on the more, I don't know, specialized stuff.
Exactly. And that actually leads into another interesting thing. RoleCatcher talks about career trajectory. You might be surprised to learn there's actually a whole path for moving up in the meter reader world.
Wait, really? I always figured it was like you're a meter reader and that's that. Kind of a one and done job title.
Nope, not at all. RoleCatcher breaks it down like this. You start as an entry-level meter reader, get the basics down, then there are opportunities to climb to junior, then senior meter reader roles.
So you're like leveling up, like in a video game.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
More responsibility, maybe even leading a team eventually.
Huh. Never thought about it like that. So you're not just reading meters forever. What else does it take to like climb that ladder?
Well, as you go, obviously the skills get more complex. You're not just collecting data anymore. You might be analyzing it, troubleshooting those really tricky issues, maybe even training new hires.
So like meter reader mentor.
Huh, maybe. Or even overseeing a whole bunch of routes, managing other meter readers, becoming like a meter reading manager.
Okay, now that's a title I never thought I'd say. But it makes sense. Someone's got to be in charge of all those readings.
Right. And RoleCatcher's big on this idea of continuous learning, especially with technology changing so fast. Staying updated, learning the newest tech that's key for moving up.
Yeah, got to stay ahead of the robots, right? Before they come for your job.
Exactly. Though hopefully it's more about working with them than, competing against them. Oh, and one more thing they stress. Good old-fashioned networking.
Networking, like going to meter reader conventions, shaking hands, swapping stories about faulty meters.
Something like that. But seriously, RoleCatcher emphasizes that those connections can lead to new opportunities, learning about cool tech, or even hearing about a management position that's opening up.
It's like they say, it's not always what you know, it's who you know. Though in this case, it sounds like you need a good dose of both.
Totally. You gotta have the skills A and D the network. But hey, we've been talking a lot about meter readers themselves. What about RoleCatcher as a platform? Their career guide has been super helpful for this deep dive, but it sounds like they've got a lot more going on than just info about specific jobs.
Right. It's not just a meter reader guide website after all.
Exactly. And what's really impressed me is how they're using tech to create this whole toolkit for job seekers, for the digital age. We're not just talking basic job boards here. RoleCatcher has everything from CV and resume analysis to interview practice tools. And get this, it's all powered by their Copilot AI.
Copilot AI. Okay, now you're speaking my language. What is that exactly? It sounds intense.
Imagine having a personal career coach available 24/7. That's kind of the idea behind Copilot AI.
Kidding, sign me up.
Right. Especially in today's job market, you need every edge you can get.
Totally. So how does it actually work? Does it like write your cover letter for you?
Well, I don't think it'll be writing your love letters anytime soon, but from what I understand, it analyzes your skills, your experience, even your career goals, like what you actually want to be doing with your life. And then it uses all that data to help you tailor your applications, optimize your resume, even practice answering those common interview questions in a way that's going to impress those hiring managers.
Wow, so it's like those old school job hunting tips, but with a 21st century upgrade.
Exactly. It's not just network more. It's here's how to network effectively.
Meh.
And tailor your resume becomes here's exactly how to tailor your resume to make it stand out from the pile.
So it's all about working smarter, not harder. Love it.
Right. And what's cool is they offer this level of support for tons of professions, not just aspiring meter readers.
It really makes you wonder how we ever got jobs before all this tech came along. Okay, so we've covered a lot about being a meter reader. We went from thinking about these guys just walking around reading dials to uncovering this whole multifaceted job that's changing with tech and actually has more opportunities for growth than we ever imagined.
It's a good reminder that you can't judge a book by its cover, or, in this case, a job by its title. You got to dig deeper.
For sure. There's always more to the story. Okay, but before we wrap things up, I want to pick your brain on one last thing. We've talked about tech's impact on meter readers, but with the whole smart cities movement, that push for sustainability, how do you see this role evolving in the years to come? Will we even need meter readers in, say, 10, 20 years?
That, I guess, the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
The future of meter readers in the age of, well, everything being smart.
Yeah.
Pretty wild to think about.
Right. Like, on one hand, you've got all these automated systems, smart grids, the whole shebang. But then I think about how massive our infrastructure actually is, how even the coolest tech can go haywire sometimes. And I wonder if those human eyes, that ability to problem solve on the fly, will always be valuable.
You've hit the nail on the head. RoleCatcher actually touches on this in their guide.
Mhm.
They seem to think that, yeah, tech is going to keep advancing, but that doesn't necessarily mean the meter reader goes extinct.
Yeah.
It's more like the role itself transforms.
So less about robots taking over, more about robots and humans teaming up.
Exactly. Kind of like a dynamic duo fighting crime
Mhm.
or, preventing power outages.
Love it. But, okay, let's get specific. What does that actually look like in practice?
Well, imagine this. Instead of just collecting data, meter readers become like data detectives.
Mm.
They're using AI-powered tools, but not just to gather the info, to actually make sense of it.
Yeah.
We're talking spotting patterns of waste, predicting equipment failures before they even happen.
Whoa, so they become like pre-crime fighters for the utility grid? That's next level.
Right. Or, they could help people figure out how to use less energy, save some money on their bills. It's all about efficiency.
So they're not just meter readers anymore. They're like meter whisperers, efficiency gurus.
Exactly. They're on the cutting edge of making our whole energy grid more sustainable, more reliable.
Man, talk about a career glow up.
Yeah.
From reading dials to shaping the future of energy.
And potentially getting paid more for it, too. Think about those skills, data analysis, problem solving, understanding these complex systems.
Sure.
That's gold in any industry these days.
It really drives home that point that sometimes what seems like a threat, like robots coming for our jobs, can actually open up totally new doors. And that's a big if, you're willing to learn those new skills.
Couldn't agree more. And RoleCatcher hammers that home throughout their guide. They're big on continuous learning, and this is a perfect example of why. The world's not slowing down, so we can't either.
Well said. This whole deep dive into the world of meter readers has been a wild ride. I went from knowing practically zilch about these guys to realizing how crucial they are now and in the future.
You never know where these deep dives will take us. It's all about keeping an open mind, being willing to learn something new.
Couldn't agree more. Big shout out to RoleCatcher for those awesome resources and for creating tools that are actually helping people navigate this crazy world of work. You've given us a lot to think about, and I'm betting our listeners will never look at a meter reader the same way again.
Who knows? Maybe we've even inspired a few career changes out there. You never know.